Right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm hoping you can see and hear us. It's me and Olya today, and I'm just turning on the questions app. So hopefully, if we get a question from you, or just not just a question, but a smiley or a hello or something, when you can see and hear us, that would be great. So we know we can get started properly then, because I'm getting a no viewers still at the bottom of the screen, so I'm just kind of going to talk for a minute or two just to make sure that you've all connected okay before we get going. So, not seeing anything yet, still seeing a 0. So what we want to do today, and I'll obviously play this again just to reinforce it in a minute, is we want to give a bit of feedback on topic 2. Been through all of your posts, which are a little good. Some people have done some great progress between the two. Oh, brilliant. Hello, we've got you. Good afternoon to you. Thanks for the smiley face. So we know at least one person is seeing and hearing us. Well, I'm still getting a 0 on the bottom. But, okay, and don't forget any particular questions that you want to raise this morning, either relating to... great. Brilliant. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Okay, and I'm getting a 1 viewer on the bottom. Right, so let's kick off then. So what we're doing this morning is giving you some feedback on topic 2. And I noticed when going through those that a number of you have already been cracking on well with topic 3, but just one step at a time for us. We've caught up with the marking, and we've done a general feedback post, which I'll show you in a moment. And also you should have your individual feedback. Basically, it's the same document that you had for topic 1. It should now just have 2 tables in it, one headed topic 2, one headed topic 1, with a few comments underneath. So if you check that again, your same document will add to that topic by topic with the extra feedback. So it's me and Olya this morning, and that's what we're going to focus on. I'm going to share my screen in a moment and to show you one or two things that I wanted to mention about your topic 2s. So you should be seeing the the course blog page now. Olya, if you could just check the viewing link and make sure that's working okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it. Did you tweet it or?
Yep, it was tweeted last night, I think. Okay. Yes. So in the general feedback section, you should now see a new post which is called General Feedback on Topic 2. So if I click on that, and I've tweeted a link to this last night as well. So there are some general comments in there. Some of which mirror what I've said in your individual posts, and some are more, kind of collective general thoughts from me. So I know Olya's got some points she wants to raise on this as well. So we'll do that for a few minutes. And like I said, if you have any specific questions, then please feel free to load them up. I can't see your questions at the moment because I'm looking at the blog here. But feel free to load those up, and I'll get to them in a few minutes' time. Okay, so what we wanted to say in general terms about topic 2 then was great. I like the way most of you have now got the hang of how it works in terms of linking to your comments and pulling in your references, making sure you credit images, that kind of thing. These are sort of basic structural points that everyone's now got the hang of. There was one point I wanted to make about referencing, which I hope wasn't caused by some confusion for me in the last set of feedback, but I did notice that some people have just put a list of references at the bottom of their posts, and they haven't actually specifically referred to them in the text of their post. Really, it's good practice for any module, anything you're writing, really, that you don't just give a general list of things you've read, but you say specifically what you're drawing from each bit of reading and refer to it there and then in your post. So some of you, I think, did that in the first topic, but then didn't do it in the second, which I was slightly confused about. There's some points about that in the general feedback post. I was delighted to see this. Thank you. You should. This was from Lynn, I believe, who very kindly shared a picture in her blog post of all of you. So absolutely delighted to see that. It's great. Nice to see so many smiley, happy faces. So thank you for that one. And also, right, yes, catfish. A few of you mentioned catfish in your posts in discussions about online identity and confusion thereof. And I think some people mentioned a TV series called Catfish. There's also a film, and I've put a link to it here. And this might be something you might want to watch over the weekend, because aside from any lessons about online identity, it is actually quite a good and unusual film. And I've just put a link here in the Internet Movie Database to see all the reviews about it, and there's a lot of commentary in there about what this says about relationships and identity and what we can believe and not believe, and what's true and what isn't. So if you're looking for some light entertainment that is still connected to your course, then you might want to have a look at that movie over the weekend. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the main screen now and see if anyone's raised any questions so far. Share. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions. Maybe at this point, Olya, could I perhaps pass over to you? Is there anything that you wanted to comment? I know you made some comments about the online identity post that you wanted to raise. Can I pass over to you for a moment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you're on big screen.
It's great to catch up with me. So it's just a small kind of point now that you're nearly, well, you're in the middle of topic 3. To be a bit critical about things that you're reading and how you're interpreting different topics and issues. So it was very good that everyone considered different reasons for and against having multiple identities, but you didn't go far enough. So it's okay to go and say, well, this is how things are, and you have to look at your online kind of profiles, and people can steal your identity. But nobody, maybe 1 or 2 people commented, but a lot of the others missed the opportunity to say, it shouldn't be like this. There should be, and for you to feel protected when you're interacting online. And the other thing also was, a lot of people said it's okay to have multiple identities if you're using it for a different reason and it's not malicious. But I wonder how many people thought about, because if you have to kind of think about, you have to log into this and say this about this thing, although you can automate tweets and things like this. But what we heard from the students before was that they try it for a little while and then it really becomes too much. So very quickly people get back to the one identity thing because that seems to make the most sense. The cases in which people don't stop using more than one identity is when they're actually they're threatened by something. So political views might be unpopular in their country, or they're activists, or they try to change things. Cases they're using the internet not necessarily for malicious reasons, but they're protecting themselves. And I think I also tweeted, I use this little add-on called Ghoststream, and it tracks. It kind of shows you who's tracking you on different web pages, and you actually end up seeing that really you tracked every step of what you're doing, and the majority of people probably don't really know about it. So everything is quite important as well. And then it's up to you whether you want to take steps to either stop it or change it, or if you're happy with it. But I think yes, awareness is definitely, and be critical. Ask yourself, why are they asking me for these details? Do they really need to know my date of birth if I'm signing up to a kind of very shallow web service? Do they need to have my full address? Away from services where I thought that they were asking me too many questions. There are so many alternatives these days on everything. There's never just the one kind of app or service that you can use. So you can kind of be critical about how you approach things, and certainly that can show. So it's fine to have an opinion. The material that we give you is just, you can actually go further than that. Find your own material and say, well, I did or didn't agree with what I first read, but then I found this, and I agree with it more. I think it's forward. So kind of be proactive and kind of move up. And this morning I'll post, for us, post a kind of tips on becoming more critical. And I actually posted this because students on the Southampton module wanted to know how they can improve their grades, as that was quite important to them. And I suggest some kind of steps for you to think about and how you can do that. So yeah, I think that was it from me.
Okay, thanks very much. I'm not seeing any questions at all. If anyone has any, please feel free to post those. Yes, another point on identity, which I put at the bottom of the general blog post, is that something to think about is that if you think you're getting a free service, then you are the product. It's you that's being bought, basically, and you may be perfectly happy with that because you feel that you're getting something useful, i.e., access to that service in return. And if that equation tips in your favour, then that's absolutely fine. But, as Olya was saying, the real thing to do is each time you're faced with that situation, think, weigh up the positives and the negatives, and is it worth, do I really need this? Is it worth the trade that I'm expected to make? And then think about this from the point of view of the company that's providing the service. A number of you have said in your posts that that's fine, that you don't mind sharing information about yourselves if it means that you then get a better quality of service from that company, or you get more relevant communications or specific discounts. Then you feel that that's a trade worth making. So it's very much an individual decision, and I think that came through quite strongly in a number of your posts. Okay, other points I wanted to make. I'm just looking at my list that I made. Yeah, now we're up to topic 3. Don't forget, you've got more and more scope now to make connections between the different topics. So think back to what you did in topic 1. Is there something you read or said back there that is relevant to draw upon and refer back to? Has your opinion changed at all based on what you've done since? That kind of thing. Also, yes, a couple of specific examples of people who I thought have done a really good effort with their topic 2 posts. Isaac's post I'd like to highlight. He was very strong on looking at the marketing implications, basically following on what I was just saying. So I think if you want a bit more input on that aspect, then have a look at Isaac's post, which I think was a really good example of that. I also liked Charmaine's comments talking about growing out of online identities. She said that if you think back over time, you may have been using identities from a much younger age, which you don't feel are any longer appropriate. They may have been an authentic representation of you 2 or 4 or 5 years ago, but maybe not necessarily a reflection of the present. So I think that's an interesting reminder that these things can change, and what you may think is appropriate and representative of you today is not necessarily the same going forwards, or indeed looking back to your past behaviour. If any of you, I did detect some of you were concerned about privacy, based on what you'd read, really. And some of you were feeling that you needed to tighten up the access controls on your Facebook and Instagram profiles, for example. I did notice that Sarah had posted a very useful video about privacy settings and how you can optimise those. So if you are feeling concerned in any way about any of this material, then you have a look at the video that Sarah shared. That might be useful and hopefully put your minds at rest a bit. Okay. Abraham. That was another post I thought was really interesting. Abraham shared a video which was looking at perhaps the pressure people feel with some of these sites to perhaps exaggerate what they do, or who they're with, either in a professional or a social capacity. And there was a very interesting video he shared, quite a humorous one about the challenges and opportunities there. So I'd certainly recommend you have a look at that one too. Okay, I think that's all the points I wanted to make on the feedback. I'm still not seeing any questions. Perhaps if you haven't got questions, you can just post some smileys or something to indicate that you're okay with what we've been saying.
Or do people have questions about the topic they're in the middle of now?
Yeah, or any questions on topic 3? We're happy to take those as well. In terms of timing, it's now Thursday, and great. Oh, thank you for mentioning. Okay, thanks, Abraham. So everyone's still there. That's fantastic. Yes, I was just saying about timing. Today is your comments and reflection day on topic 3, and so we will then tomorrow we'll get to marking those. Also later today, I'll post up your topic 4. So it's amazing how quickly we're getting through this now. Okay, thanks, Evan. So you'll be able to get started tomorrow then on topic 4, and you'll basically have that stretched over the weekend. So your first day of topic 4 tomorrow, your second day of topic 4 on Monday. So that should take a bit of the timing pressure off for you and for us, which is good. Okay. There's a question for you there. Oh yeah, I think if you could just Zoe to your remind Zoe about your blog post.
Yeah, I think that I think possibly in individual feedback we can kind of say we can comment on what you've done, but kind of specifically saying you need to do this and this to every single person. Sometimes we might point out 1 or 2 things that you can specifically kind of address, but sometimes it's more about your approach. So you'll see some definite tips in the post that I will put up shortly. But in the individual feedback, if you think it something, if you want something more specific, you are able to comment and ask, you know, to do with specific things maybe we've said. You can highlight the text and say, you know, how can I improve on this? What specific thing I can do? If you need kind of further points, you're welcome to you're welcome to put a comment inside your own feedback document and ask a question, or send us a tweet. I think I've just got one this morning. You know, if we say that we can't find something, then you are welcome to send us a message in any way that you want to, and we will kind of work on that. I know one or two people might have missed out putting comment links in, and you know, in which case we normally leave that field in your feedback empty. But if you do come back to us with those links, we will have a look, so that you don't feel like you've missed out on anything. So yeah, in general, you'll probably, the post that I will put up shortly will it should help you in your approach to definitely doing summary for topic 3.
Okay, great, thanks Oya for that. I'm not seeing any more questions there now. Okay, so in terms of planning then, we thought tomorrow we're actually going to give you a Hangout free day. So there's going to be no Hangout tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon for you guys. But on Monday we will be back with a guest, and then on Monday we will be addressing specifically your topic 3 feedback, and you'll be well into topic 4 by then. So this is all part of a grand plan, because we're certainly getting the impression from the work you've done so far. So I'll get to that in a step. We're certainly getting the impression that you're much more comfortable now with how the module works, and really the idea gradually through the module is that you do more and more kind of self learning, and not just from your own reading, but also very much encourage you to not just the posts that you commented on, but basically any other students that you feel you can learn from. You read and you reflect on their work and think about how you might draw upon some of their ideas, and that's not just within your own group, but of course there's the other group in the UK as well, you've almost caught up with now, because they are doing topic 5 at the moment, and they'll still be doing topic 5 next week. So we'll be pretty much the same stage. So don't forget that really the whole purpose of this module is for you to use the online resources, and that might be in terms of articles, it might be in terms of videos, it might be in terms of your own networks and the people that you're engaged with, and that is both your own colleagues on the course and also people on other courses. It may also be branching out into the professional space that you be connected with locally, companies in the area. Your networks are your own individual ones for you to grow in a way that you see fit. So we don't want you to rely too much on just getting kind of instructions, if you like, from a tutor, because that's really not what this module is about. So we're going to try and take a step back on that aspect for the rest of the module. Okay, now I've got a question here from Carol. It says, I am still confused with regards to using images, diagrams, and videos. I mean, basically anything that you include, you should put a reference to it, okay? And not just, I did notice one or two people were still just kind of plonking things in without necessarily explaining why they were there. So anything you use, you should explain why you used it, what particular point you're trying to make with it, and include a link to where you got it from. So in most cases, if somebody's published some video, for example, on YouTube, then that's publicly available information, and all you need to do is just provide a link to it. if you've got a situation where you've just kind of taken an image someone else has taken, and you've just used that within your post, either as a background or in some other way, and that wasn't an image that they'd specifically put out there as being freely available, then that's when you really need to check what arrangements they have for sharing that image. And in many cases, people have said, they'll say on their blogs that all the materials shareable, and as long as you credit them, they're happy with that. Other people may not. So I think the best advice is if it's not clear, then don't use it. Don't assume that it's okay unless you've got a specific instruction from the owner of that site that they don't mind their pictures being shared. So I think in most cases, most of the things that you use, particularly if it's articles or videos, you just by virtue of the fact that they're there, that they've been posted publicly online, then obviously their owners are happy for them to be used just with a link to show the authorship. Have a look back to Olya wrote a post about this, which is on the, I think it's in the important information section, isn't it, Olya? Do you want to just comment, or
it is
that? Or just your post about images and crediting.
It could be under important information. Important announcements. Link on the blog.
I'm just sharing my screen here a moment, so if I can find the post. Right, course blog, important announcements on the right hand side. And here we are, using images in blog posts. So, yes, this is the post that Olya wrote. It basically gives you some sources where you can download images and use images that have been specifically made available for that purpose. So those are obviously okay. Have a read through that, which hopefully will clarify the situation. But I think the best advice is, if you're unsure, if it's unclear, then don't use it. Then you're safe. Okay, I'm just going to get my screen back. Stop the screen share. Okay, have we got any other questions? I'm not seeing any questions. Is there anything else you wanted to say this morning, Olya?
No, I think I think that's it for me.
Okay, so I'm just going to do a quick wrap up then, which will give you a minute or so if you've got other questions you want to raise, or if there's any kind of delay on that. So basically what we've covered this morning, we've talked through some of the points, both generally and with a few specific examples of our feedback on topic 2. Well, that reminds me, actually, I did tweet a link last night to a little survey. Okay, thanks, Carol. Brilliant. There's a tweet to what I've called a mid-module survey, which is actually basically just 2 questions. It will take you 5 seconds to do. It would be really helpful for us if you could answer those. You just basically find the tweet, click on the link, answer 2 questions, and it's done. And that will send us your results in an anonymous format. And we can then just get a little bit of input. The first question just asks you about what you think about the learning style of the module, and the other asks you about the amount of feedback you're getting and how useful you find it. So that would be really useful feedback for us to hear what you think about how it's going so far. And obviously, we've still got time in the remaining week of the module if there's anything in particular that you want more or less of. So if you could have a look at that would be great. Perhaps yeah, you could retweet it. That's at the top of the list. So if you could find that. Still not seeing any questions. So yeah, so we've been through some feedback on topic 2. You're in the middle of topic 3 at the moment. We're going to post topic 4 for you later today, so that will be all ready for you tomorrow. We're not going to have a hangout tomorrow. We will have one first thing on Monday, last thing on Monday for you. And so you've got topic 4 to be working on basically between Friday and Monday, which gives you a longer space to think about that. And I think that's kind of all I wanted to say this morning. I'm still not seeing any questions, so perhaps any just closing smiley faces. Good. Just send us a smiley or a reply to confirm that we're all clear and we're up to date. Any individual questions, of course, feel free. As Olya said, don't forget that you comment within your feedback document if there's a particular point you want more information on, or also just tweet us or email us at any time if there's something that you'd like clarified. I'm not seeing anything. Anyone going to send me a smiley? No smiley? Not seeing anything. I'm just going to check I'm just going to quickly look at the Google Plus page in case there's anything up there. 1 second. Nope, not seeing anything on there. Due date to topic 4. Ah, right. Yes. Okay. So your first post on topic 4 will be by the end of Friday, and your second post will be by the end of Monday. Okay, is that right, Olya? Just let me double check that with the list.
Yeah, that's all right.
I've got a printout of the timetable here. So yes. Yes, so your answer to the topic 4 question by the end of Friday, and the summary and comments by the end of Monday. Okay? And yeah, then after that, it's only one more topic. And the content of topic 4, in case you're wondering, is going to be about ethical issues, all of this. So you may want to explore issues of access or privacy, some of the things you've highlighted about perhaps cyberbullying, for example. So we've got a chance to explore some of the points you may have already alluded to in more depth in topic 4, and perhaps also a bit more freedom to choose a particular issue that is of interest or relevance to you. But anyway, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself there. Topic 3 is your focus at the moment, and hopefully everyone's getting on okay with that. Right, so I'm not seeing anything else in the questions, so I think we'll sign off then. We'll say cheerio, and we won't speak to you again until Monday. It's a long way off, but it'll come round. Thank you for the thank you. Brilliant. So enjoy the rest of topic 3 and getting started with topic 4. And don't forget we're here online if you've got any questions. Any closing points from you, Olya?
No, but for some reason my face has been on screen for the last couple of minutes while you were
talking. Okay, give people a change of scenery.
Okay.
I notice how similar they all look in the videos, actually. And maybe as a final point, it's worth just reminding you that all of these Hangouts are on YouTube, and you can access them directly from the module blog in the top right-hand corner. There's a little YouTube button. So if there's anything you want to look back on, or things that you didn't catch while we were saying them, then don't forget that the videos are there. Right, okay, so we're going to say goodbye, and we will see you all again very soon. So I'm going to wave and switch off. Okay.
Bye.